Hi and welcome. My name's Stephan Ridgway and I'm the Manager Learning and Innovation at Sydney TAFE. I'll be one of the presenters tomorrow at the Educators as Content Creators workshop as part of the Designing for Flexibility program. I wanted to record this short video just to give you a bit of a picture of how I operate as a curator in my professional practice and as part of the networks that I'm a member of. So we're going to outline tomorrow a bit of a schema that Howard Jarshi outlined, which he identified as seek, sense and share. So the seek part of it is about how do we identify the sources of information for our curation. Well, for me, probably one of the most powerful sources is actually Twitter. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of Twitter, and it is truly the archetypical river of information. So it's a bit bewildering for educators when first confronted with Twitter. Who do I follow amongst this cacophony of voices? Well, my advice is to start small. Don't just start following everyone that you find, because you will soon find that you end up with just a noisy channel when it's not very useful for you. So start small. You might find, for instance, that you're reading a blog post or a Facebook post or the like that you find very useful and valuable in your teaching and learning practice. Have a look at the profile. They're probably post on Twitter. Have a look at their tweets, and if you think they're providing you valuable information, follow them. Have a look at who they follow. Who are the people in their network that they find useful to get information from, and selectively follow different people there. You do need to be careful that you don't create noise in your channel, and at any time not be concerned about unfollowing people, to ensure that over time you build this great channel that's useful to you in your professional practice. There are lists in Twitter, which means that individuals can post their tweets to lists, and so that you can get this, in a sense, multiplicity of tweets bundled under a particular topic. And of course, the other great thematic organizer of tweets is the hashtag. So have a look at a hashtag, particularly if you're attending a conference. That's a great way to find out useful people relevant to your area, because a conference will use a hashtag to organise the tweets thematically, and you can have a look at the individuals who are tweeting there, and if they look useful to you, you can follow them. And it is a great tool. Remember, Twitter is this huge river of information that is flowing rapidly. And don't worry if you just don't check in for a week. Don't try to catch up on a week's worth of tweets. You won't. You just simply need to dip in and dip out of Twitter selectively as it suits you. Remember, Twitter is something that's all about the immediacy of your area, so it's a great source of information for highly current, highly trending, highly new information. It's no point trying to search Twitter for someone who made a post 6 months ago or even 3 months ago. Twitter is about the moment, and you need to be mindful of that. So the other tool that I use really every day, and that is a social bookmarking tool called Digo, and I've been using this for many years. Probably I was using Delicious prior to Digo, but I shifted over to this probably 5 years ago. But I've been using Delicious for 5 years. Now really, this is more of a repository tool, but it's a great way to be able to store websites that you have found in your travels. So you may have found this great link in Twitter. Well, you want to store it somewhere, and social bookmarking is a fabulous tool. So you can see here, for instance, that this is my library with the most recent posts that I have made to Diigo, and I can type in a tag, for instance curation in this example, and it will show me all of the resources that I have tagged with curation. Now, the great thing about Diigo is that there are some really good tools here. So if you're on a website and you like it, you simply click the Diigo extension, in this case on Chrome, but there's similar things for Firefox and IE, and you simply go save. It automatically saves the URL, and you can put in a description, and here you can put in your tags. So in this case it's a wiki, it's related to education. You'll notice here that it's actually auto scanning my existing repository of tags and making suggestions for me. The other useful thing in Diigo is that I can share my resources to groups, and this can be an additional way to thematically organize your resources, but also share those resources. So as you probably know, we have a tag that we use explicitly for the Designing for Flexibility program, which is SI DFF, and if I use that tag and I add it to the Workforce Development group, or the Workforce Development Unit group, and I save that, anyone who goes to that group will be able to see it. So if I just pop back to Diigo, if I click on Groups, My Groups, I will see all of the groups that I'm currently a member of. And there is the Workforce Development Unit one, and if I click on it, the resource that I just tagged, there it is, Designing for Flexibility Resources, is on the top of the list. Now, all of you, no doubt, as part of the DFF program, have come and joined up to the Workforce Development Unit group, and have been able to see the various tagged resources that are aligned to the various topics in the DFF program. Because you're tagging in a traditional way with keywords, this generates what's called an RSS feed. Well, this will enable you to take these resources and share them externally outside of the Twitter, outside of Diigo. And for instance, our blog is a good example, the Designing for Flexibility blog. If you have a look here, this is the last 10 resources that were tagged with SIDFF by members of the Workforce Development Unit Diigo group. So a really great way to be able to plug information out of there into teaching spaces like Moodle or Wikispaces or a blog. The other tool that I look at on a regular basis is, of course, YouTube. Again, a fantastic repository of content, and I organize videos that I find in here into playlists so that I can organize them more efficiently. I can also share those playlists and embed them into learning spaces such as wikis and blogs. So that's really valuable if I'm wanting to provide my students with a sort of thematic range of videos that I've found. Again, it's all about this curation process. So the other area is, of course, blogs, which I've been engaged with for many years. And the tool that I'm currently using for blogs is Feedly. Prior to that, I used Google Reader, which recently shut down. So this is what the classic blog aggregator. So it allows me to organize and manage all of my blog subscriptions in one place. So if you look here, education, these are all the blogs that I'm currently subscribe to, and I can click on one of those blogs and I can see all of the posts that have been made recently. If I just click on here, you can see that I've got my blogs organized into different topic areas. So I was just then in the education topic area. If I click on that, I just see the most recent posts from all of the blogs in that area. Of course, if I'm in there, I can look at the post. If I click on the title of the post, I will actually go out of Feedly and actually to the blog itself, to that post, and I can actually begin to share these posts into my wider social networks. In this case, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So that gives you some idea there of how I source information. It really is a process of just simply over time gathering authoritative and useful sources, and it will take time to do that, and you will need to allow yourself probably a good 3 to 4 months of daily work of finding all the relevant voices in a particular area to follow and curate. So let's have a look now about making sense of this content, and once you've found useful information, what do you do with it? Well, this is about being a member of a community. The communities that I'm particularly part of these days are particularly in Facebook, and as you know, we have a Designing for Flexibility group, and that is a Facebook group that really is just a boundary around what we're doing in Designing for Flexibility, and from any of those sources that I looked at earlier, whether they be Digo, or whether they be Twitter, or whether they be YouTube, I can share them into this group for the members' perusal. And this is where we get the sense side of Harold Jarsky's curation skills, because we can engage in a conversation around the resources that are posted here by members of the groups. Of course, we can like a post, but we can also comment, which is really useful. The other community or social network that I'm involved with is Google+, which is Google's equivalent to Facebook. Very similar. It has a thing called communities, which are sort of analogous to groups. Again, you follow people just like Facebook, or you have contacts. In the case of Google, there are things called circles, so you can have a look here of the people that I have in circles, and circles are like areas of interest or communities and networks in which you add members into there, and all of the posts that those members have made can be filtered just to that area. Of course, one of the nice things about Google Plus is that tends to be more open than Facebook, and so you can share posts that you find out onto the open web into other networks like Twitter and the like. Whereas Facebook, unless you're actually a member of Facebook, you can't actually look at what's going on. The other, I guess, area, and this is probably more analogous to Twitter, and that is Mang. This is really a debt social network. It's, like I said, very, very similar to Twitter, where you make short posts of under 100 characters, and you follow people, and people follow you. So very similar to Twitter. I want to now just have a look at some of the tools that I use to, I guess, both read my content or engage with the sources of information that I'm bringing together, and also how I share it out. Now, I guess it's one of those questions a bit like, well, what do you do when you get up in the morning? So I'm just going to jump across now over to my iPad, where I've got a range of tools that I use on a pretty regular basis to look at my content. So let me just let me bring up my iPad here. Here we go. Okay, great, excellent. The first one I want to just briefly look at, and we'll look at this in more detail in the workshop, and this is Flickr. I'll just bring this up so it's a little bit more readable. Flickr, sorry, Flipboard's been around for a couple of years, and it really is a mobile device, mobile tool. Really not. I don't think you can actually even view it on a desktop. It really is primarily for a mobile device. And as you can see here, there are various topics or themes or individuals, or they could be magazines. For instance, TechCrunch is actually traditionally a blog, but they also have a Flipboard channel. But you also get these curated channels that Flipboard have put together called like Technology, for instance, which is they have created that, and you can subscribe to it. So basically, you simply click on a channel or a subscription, and you get this fantastic magazine format of all of this information that is here. And you can simply click on a post, and it will take you into that full post, and you can read it. So it's very visually compelling, and a great way to look at your content on the iPad. And of course, at any time you can share that post into Facebook, Twitter, Google+, etc. You can of course also jump out of here and go across to the web, which would take you into Safari in this case on an iPad. But they also have internal mechanisms where I can like it in Flipboard and send signals to other Flipboard users, presumably. So that's Flipboard. Now the other thing about Flipboard is, of course, you can search for sources of content here, like could be a blog, etc., and follow it. But the other neat thing that you can do is create your own channels. So if I click on me, for instance, here, you'll see here I have my own magazines here. One is called Curation, and this has two contributors, myself and one of the other presenters here today, Jacqueline Bates, and we're both able to find articles anywhere on the web and just simply add them to this magazine. And this is a really, really useful way of providing a great curated feed for our learners or for our other members in our network. Really useful. The other tool, of course, which was for Feedly, which I briefly mentioned here earlier, and which is more traditional blog aggregator. And here I can read all of my blogs, and you can see here's all my topics, and I can subscribe to new blogs and the like. And again, I get a very similar sort of nice, easy reading format for the iPad. A really, really nice way to engage with it. The other tool I wanted to just briefly say that I use, and that is Scoop It. It's quite similar to Flipboard, predates it a little, but it's more about creating these magazines. It began as a process for people to create the topics, whereas Flipboard is quite, the process of being able to create your own magazine is quite a recent addition to Flipboard. This was always the case at its inception. Scoop It. And here I've got a range of topics or areas that I follow, and these have been curated by particular individuals. So designing for learning, for instance, I can see here that it's been created by Michael Coughlin, and whenever he finds a useful resource, he just simply scoops it, and he can do that on his computer, he can do it on his iPad, or in his case I think he's got an Android, and it'll be here ready for me to read. You can have your own topics. In my case, if I have a look at my topics, you can have a look here, educators as curators, and I've created my own Scoop It here, which other people can subscribe to. So that's Scoop It. So I think that pretty much covers what I do every day. And it is a continuous process. It never ends. You're constantly having to refine and fine-tune your curation, and you always need to be mindful that there are new tools emerging all the time, and just need to be mindful about, well, what does your network use? It's no point adopting a platform if your network doesn't use that. So if you find that the majority of your network in your professional area use Twitter, then use Twitter. No good trying to use a tool that they are not going to be receptive to. So it's about context, and as I said, it is a continuous process. You become like a constant gardener, something that you need to be ever vigilant on and ever mindful of, and it is a fantastic way to maintain your currency and your voice within a professional area. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting you all at the workshop tomorrow.